It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Nope. Started on me. Is that a hint, Derek, that I have to
yeah, you got to do the whole read through. I mean, just like Gary does. Come on.
I don't have the read through ready. I thought you were going to have that ready.
Oh, you thought I was going to have it?
I'll do it.
Yeah, come on now. Are we going to finish the year this disorganized? Is that what we're doing?
Well, you're the host. I thought I was the co-host tonight. Gary,
I thought I was the co-host tonight. What are you talking about?
No,
Gary said I'm the host.
Gary left us in charge, and we're going to tear it all down.
All right, so I guess I'll jump back in, just me, and I'll do a big. Okay, so a big thanks to me for the open, and for two patrons: Moda Rima, Bloody Cool, Jr. and Juju, Boo Boo One, Kitty Catch, Finlay and his Drudge, Seebeck Tribe, Curious KDB, Gene Hunter, Fam Gustafson, and unfortunately, still no new patrons this week. But hey, just go ahead and click that button, go to the website, become a patron, and there you go. Just become a patron, $3 a month, and you can have a lot of great fun. I mean, there's so much that you can get as being a patron. There's fun meet and greets when we're at events and a whole bunch of other stuff. So there we go. All right.
So people are asking, where's Gary?
Action Trinity with us tonight. So
that's right. And we traded Gary for Action Trinity. So sorry, guys.
It's a good trade. Very
there
good
you go.
trade.
We did okay. So no, it is. Gary is out. He's traveling with family, so he's not here tonight. So it's just us two weirdos and Action Trinity.
Weirdos.
Weirdos. Yeah, okay. I was being nice, Since Derek is hosting and I'm co-hosting, I thought I was going to be nice.
That's the case, then we need to do this. There we go.
Oh, there you go. You had us out of order. And that makes for great audio, right? But
I know.
Okay, so do you want to? At least we can get started with the news and have some kind of semblance of reality.
Yeah, and I actually have that ready. So here we go. And you take the first one, the leaderboard.
Okay, so the leaderboard has started again. They've reset, right?
Right.
And which one is it this time? Here's the bigger question, though. Before we talk about that, how many of the leaderboards have you two? And I think I know who's going to be in the lead here. How many of the peaks have you reached in the last few months? Both of you.
Oh,
I have
Go ahead. Sorry,
I haven't. I haven't since going caching. I've been so busy with a whole bunch of other stuff, family stuff, and Lego and all that. I haven't really found the time to really go caching. It's just been really crazy. So I haven't reached the peak in the last few months. I've been building caches, but not going out and caching.
Can I go?
Yep. Go for it.
It's your turn. Have you got them all?
Yeah. And this one I reached like the quickest because I'm trying to reach, the goal we were talking about. I'm trying to hit 5,000 before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big milestone.
Should be at 7 though. So I'm a little slacking.
So I have reached the peak 1 month. I have not been caching a lot. We hadn't been able to travel, and we do all of our travel when we're all of our geocaching when we're traveling. Obviously, this will probably be one of the worst years I've ever put on the board in the last 11 as far as numbers. Now we got some good caches this year and some some high quality ones, but numbers alone, this is probably outside of like the first 1 or 2 years when we were just dabbling a little bit. This is probably the lowest year. I won't even come close to 1,000 this year. I usually hit 1,000 to 2,000 every year. So this one will not be that, but that's okay though. We really enjoyed the caching we did get to do. So now the other question is, and we can save this for the show, so you can just be thinking about it if you don't have an answer. Do you know what you're going to do for your 5,000? Have you got your cache picked out yet?
No, unfortunately I'm not like a milestone. Have to have this special cache. It's just certain goals that I set for myself. Like, if I want to go somewhere, this is just like, I want to hit 5,000. I'm just close and I want to hit it. But yeah, I don't pick a cache, or it's just whatever I hit. Plus I gotta travel so far just to cache right now. I have nothing in my area. I'm like my job is caching. I drive an hour out of the way. I never even drove that far for work. Not true.
I would recommend picking one that you at least like a little bit for your 5,000. This is your first big, outside of 1,000, your first big milestone. And if not, you'll look back later and go, oh, at least don't pick a bad one, right? Don't pick like a Walmart lamppost cache.
I never look at anything as bad. Hey, I like all the people that are on. Hi, Jeremy.
Yeah, Tom.
Hi. Okay, but I know all caches. It's funny. I was just reading a post about favorite points, and I'm like, man, don't go by me, because sometimes if I'm just like having the great day and I just had like a great time in the woods and I found something that made me smile, even if if I liked the container and it wasn't anything, I like favorite point just cause.
Yep.
But I definitely give it to the ones that deserve it for all the work and creativity and time put into it. But but you say I would look back, but I've looked back on all mine and I never once said, oh, I should have got it.
Well, there you go then. Yeah, that's the good thing is cache how you want to cache. That's the important thing, right? With this game, do what you want to do. It makes it fun for you.
Yeah, like you were saying, I didn't do numbers. You did good ones this year. It's not about it's not about anything. It's about whatever you want it to be about.
Right, and that's what I love about this game. You can play it the way you want to. You go after the caches you want to. You can be as extreme as you want to, or be as low key as you want to. That's it's for everyone. That's what I completely love about this game.
Like I'm right now, I do have to hit 5,000 before the year because I already set my mind to it, and it's like I have 100 and I have to go far, but I need 4 solid days, and I got this, no problem.
So before we get any further into that, let's pause for a second. And people that are new to the show are wondering, who is this really fast talking person? We need to introduce you, because once we get into caching, we're not going to be able to really stop again. So for anybody that doesn't know, they're thinking I'm being mean. They're about to find out. Stephanie has the most energy we've ever had of any guest ever. So we need to really introduce her. For the people that don't know who you are, let's start there. And then once we get into caching, you can zoom off at 1,000 miles an hour. So we know you're so excited about it. No, don't slow down. That's why you're here, right? Because you're full of energy and everything else. And you're always fun to have on the show. But we just assume everybody knows who you are. So let's start there first. And go on. Before we even get into geocaching, we should kind of give a background of who you are. And if you want to give the quick snippet of how you got into geocaching for anybody that doesn't know yet, we can do that as well. So do you want to start?
Who? Me?
You. Yeah. We already know who we are.
I would never be. I'm just a person that likes to geocache.
Okay, so we won't embarrass you then. Well, you're not just a person. You have quite an interesting history.
Yeah, I have kind of cool.
Let's show something real quick.
That'll be a good intro. Yeah.
Let me bring something up here. Let's see here.
Start. I will add it.
All right. So here, hold on, let me get this to full screen. All right. So this is back in the day a little bit, but not too far. But
and I could do it still.
Trinity just climbed up. Let me for audio listeners. This is a wrestling match we were looking at.
Right.
I guess start there. I guess right before I explain the rest of it.
She's a cacher who can body slam you.
That's right. She climbed up. How tall was that cage?
16 foot.
16 foot. Then you jumped off of it onto 2 people. And just continued on like that was normal. And I think you told us last time that you basically like just got off a plane and just walked out there for that one, right?
Oh, and I'm as a watcher, like I always remember because I had those clunky shoes. Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to be on that show, but I'm like, I'm gonna fly in because they're doing, you know, big cage matches. I want to be in that somehow. And when I showed up, Dusty Rhodes like, you want to jump off the cage? I'm like, yeah, I do. And I wore that on the plane. I was just like, I'm gonna be ready to go. So they like put me in, and they did. And I didn't realize I had these like really clunky platformy boots on, you know, that was in style whenever that was. And I couldn't climb. I was having so much trouble climbing the fence with them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even going to be able to get up this fence and get up to the top. But so you see, I'm like struggling. But once I got up there, then there was no problem.
Yeah, Alice Fox says, don't get in the way of Trinity for an FTF.
You don't have to worry about that. We laugh at that all the time because I don't go. I have a funny story about why I don't go for first to finds because I got like yelled at one time because, you know, when they put out those commemorative ones or like for somebody else and they're supposed to be it. I didn't know what those things were. So on 4th of July was my first to find ever. And I never thought I'd even be in the running because I'm like, all these people already found all these cash. I forgot like people are hiding them as they're going, you know? So I find one. And my phone was going dead. It was 4th of July. It was nighttime, but I'm like, I was caching a lot now, and I had Geosense. I found it without my phone, and I'm like, I was so excited. Fireworks are going off, and I didn't even used to write long logs, but I had like a page written for this because I was so excited. And then I get an email that, you know, you weren't supposed to find that. It was for somebody else. And I'm like, what? I'm like, we weren't there. I found it first. And I'm like, well, I didn't even know. So like, whatever. So I'm like, it's not a real thing because somebody else, if you're giving it to people. So I never ever went for first time. And I left because just recently I saw one published because then I learned you could put notifications and then you could go out for them. And I did try a little bit, but I was like not as serious about it because it's, to me, I'm like, if someone else you could take it away. It's not a real statistic to me, whatever. I'm too competitive. So I gave up on that. But one was published like just recently and it was raining out and I'm like, yeah, I saw it, but I'm like, whatever, I'll get it someday. And I happen to be on the way back and I'm like, oh, I'll stop to get it. And it was raining and I couldn't go back to my car. It was too far away. So I'm rolling out the log, but it was getting soaking wet. My pen wasn't, so I only rolled it out a little and I wrote my name. It was so sloppy. It was on one of those little micro nothings. And I'm like, I wrote it and somebody texted me, one of the geocaches, they're like, did you? So I was like, oh, I know it was so sloppy. I didn't roll out the log. And they were like, you were the first to find. I'm like, I was laughing because then they wrote to the guy who put it out and they were like, did you put a dirty log in there? And he's like, no. And it just became such a funny thing. I'm like, see, I'm not even serious. So that was, yeah, I don't go out. So no one's ever going to have to wrestle me for a first fight. But yeah, when I want something, you will have to race me and fight me. Oh, for pad tags. Like if there's a pad tag in it, definitely don't put your arm. I will armbar you.
That's the funny thing about that, and we've already kind of alluded to it, and we'll talk about it more. But that's what you like you mentioned pad tags, right? Some people will never touch a pad tag, and that's part of the game that you found interesting. You don't care about FTF, but you like the pad tag.
Yeah, sometimes I love junk in there. I find I have bad junk.
All right, so let me give people a little bit of a quick synopsis of who you are outside of geocaching. Okay. So feel free to jump in on any of this, but you're stunt woman, and those of us that have met you before or have been on the previous shows, they remember some of your crazy stories, like you intentionally set yourself on fire. Yes. Which still crazy, by the way. But whatever makes you happy, right? Okay. Exactly. Actress, you've been in the movies. Mm-hmm. So it also says host. What have you hosted?
I used to have a web show called Action Trinity.
So okay. I don't think we've covered that before.
Yeah, it was short. It was more like a resume, but I really loved it. Oh my God. Like I would just do and I would kind of do anything that I was into. So we happened to blow up a car. So I put it on my web show and, you know, I also blew the car up because I used to do special effects as well. So I helped rig it. I helped blow it up. I also was the actress in we did a thing for a magazine and then it was in our independent film. So I was all parts of that. So it was fun. So I showed you how we blow up a car and, you know, I was the host of my little show doing it. And then I was in the scene of it blowing up. So it was cool. But I do anything.
Right,
My horse,
I'll keep pushing through because we could talk about you're setting yourself on fire and blowing stuff up all night long. Yeah. WWE Diva, Pro Wrestler, TNA Knockout Impact Wrestling, Roller Derby Rockstar, New York State All-Star, Long Island Roller Rebels, Empire State Roller Derby, Strong Island Roller Derby, and then oddly enough, this goes with all the rest of it, but a member of the Long Island Curling Club.
I like
not what you would think would be the same person as all the rest of the stuff, but that's okay.
Well, you know why I got into that? I was thinking I could possibly go to the Olympics with this. Like I thought my Olympic dreams were like out of the picture, but I'm like, oh wait, I still might have a shot at the Olympics with curling. So I took it on. But
you know what? If you can get to the Olympics, go to the Olympics. So however you can get there.
Yeah, that was my Olympic thought in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna go there curling. I was pretty good.
So,
I like
we won't dwell on all the outside stuff because we could definitely talk about explosions and fire all day long.
Oh, yeah,
but
always.
There is one more outside thing that actually does cross over, which is something called Nico.
Oh, my horse. All my animals. All my animals cross over. They all geocache me. But yes, I hide all like Cash's series where I had where I used to ride, and he goes caching with me and he helps me hide. But so did all my 2 dogs, and my cat went with me. So I always try to incorporate my animals into geocaching.
So how do you take a cat geocaching?
Well, you know, there's the puzzles that you have to do in the car. So my cat's always in the car, and there was like a lock one, and she was helping me, you know, pick the lock.
Cats are smart, so that's good.
He solves the puzzles because I can.
Did you ever take your cat actually out to a cache?
No, I'd carry it because unfortunately she was blind after a while, so she wouldn't really run away anymore. That's terrible to say, but then I started taking her everywhere. It's like she wouldn't run away. Otherwise, she was a maniac. She would run everywhere and climb trees and stuff. And then when she was blind, so I'm like, I still have to bring her out on adventures because now she's like missing out on adventures.
So the Force Awakens says, "Cool Runnings Part 2. Wrestlers turn to curling to get to the Olympics."
That's a movie waiting to happen right there.
I really think you could make a movie out of my crazy life because I really literally am like the girl next door because I'm really so normal. I just like live next door to you. You know, even though I was wrestling and on TV, I'm not like this superstar. I'm just like a normal person. I geocache, I play sports, I have animals, you know. So the fact that that was cool because I still pinch myself. I'm like, man, I was at WrestleMania. I was like in there. I was in the ring. I was on TV. And even when I'm doing stunts, I'm like on all these movie sets with all these actors and I'm like, wow. And I'm still always starstruck when I'm on them. So, and it's so hard to believe because I feel like I'm such a regular down to earth person. So like when I look at that, I'm like, I was there. Yeah, I was. My mother always like, you were there. You did. I was like, I know, but it's still weird to me to think I did all that. But I'm very excited.
Well, it's what's normal to you, right? That was normal to you because you were doing all those things, and it's not normal to everybody else.
No, and when people are like, wow, you do it, but I'm like, you know, when you're doing it, you're around all these other people that are doing it, so it seems like, you know, not that it's not a big deal because it's pretty cool, but you're like, yeah, there's other people that do it. I'm not the only one.
So another one of those things, and Nico is your horse, right?
Yes.
But that sounds normal to you that you go horseback geocaching, but I don't think we've ever even talked about that topic really on the show.
No, I don't think you have either.
Kind of tell us how that works out. Like I have trouble sometimes taking my dog.
Yeah.
He gets crazy, and a horse is slightly bigger than a dog. So
not your dog.
Well, yeah.
It's like 130 pounds, you would tell me. I'm like, that's huge. He's like, he's a puppy?
Yeah, he's 10 months old now, so he's not done growing.
No, that's crazier. But yeah, my horse, he's a little hard to do it because he don't like to stand still. So when I have to get off him and hide something or I'm looking for something, he's like, you know, he's going crazy. I'm like, well, can you at least help me? But everywhere I ride, it's always in these like big parks and there's already was caches there. So like I would take him to go find them because I'm like, that's great. I get through the woods quicker and in and out. And then I'm like, oh, there's a lot of room in here. So I would start to hide him. So I hit like I moved to like 3 different barns. So I have like 4 different series of caches. So I always love to hide them where I'm riding. So then when people are caching, I can see them out of my horse. which doesn't happen that often. I'm always like out on my horse, and then I see someone log my cache. I'm like, I must have just missed them. I think I only ran into people twice in all the caches I had in all the series. I only ran into people twice on my horse.
Have you ever seen anybody else caching on a horse?
No, I you know what's funny is like besides like the cachers that I know, nobody else that I know outside of caching caches. If that even makes sense.
Like from normal life, like
yeah,
regular people. Yeah.
Like there's like one person in the movie. Well, it's funny because there was one person in the movie industry that's in Long Island that like it's a geocacher. We met through the industry. Their camera sound in the sound department. Andy, I think I forget his CP90. So we met. We like had that in common with the caching and the movie business. And then, but that's about it. Yeah, no one. I don't think. No. Oh, roller derby. There was like one other person, and we used to like hang out through caching. And then any stump, and I don't think any stump people cache. Whatever, they're boring now. How could you not cache?
They're busy blowing stuff up.
I would go on movie sets, so there'd be caches close by. And then I think, someone would say, oh, wait, I hit a cache. I'm working on a movie. So it's funny. I would like find it. I would be calling out their caching name through like the set. Like, out of it, I would just be like, Master Green, just to see if they were like around. Like, I just found your cache. No one.
That's funny. So Houston, Texas Dave says he has a trail ride geocache series. Follow the trail horse take to get the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. That's pretty cool. And then another person said they have somebody nearby. Scott says they have somebody nearby that they had a geocache series, and theirs are a little bit higher than others. And you've hidden caches on your horse too, right?
Yeah. Well,
now how high were they?
But someone said, did you just walk around and hide them? Because they like seem to be on that height. But I'm like, no, I had to get off them a couple times. Maybe I use him to get somewhere and hide them if I want them higher. But when I was in either Kansas or Texas, I was like caching. There was all cows right in the field. And I'm like, wow, there's like caching right in the middle of a field with cows. More livestock and runaway pigs. And
that tends to be Kansas.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love bringing my horse, but he don't like to stand still. Like when I'm finding, he's like very restless in the woods. And I'll be in high places and little areas, and he don't really fit. And he's like twisted. I'm like, come on, stand still, keep calm. We'll get this. He finds that when I open it, he like holds the container.
So now we'll get into the real geocaching stuff. That was kind of the personal stuff, but I know once we start the timer on the geocaching, we'll know that the show's going to go. So you love geocaching. We know that. And I would be shocked if the answer to this question was different, but how has this year been for you?
Well, I guess it started off slow, but I feel like I think that I got more into it because then there was like not as much to do. We were slow. I wasn't, work stopped, but that was last year, right? I'm so these last 2 years are a blur to me, but I think that I was starting to, get a lot of caching in. Like I said, I started reaching my milestone because I was caching so much. I'm like, ooh, now I really have to get it. And as bad as I bought like the coin 4,000 and 5,000, like when I was on a roll and then all of a sudden I stopped. I'm like, damn it. Now I bought these coins and I didn't reach them. So I'm like, I have to hit that number because I have the coin already.
Right. Yeah. But
that's
a great segue real quick for coins.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go back real quick. Cache Fest coins are guitar coins. A lot of people have been asking about the crate, and I wanted to let everybody know that the crate now is available. We have it on the site. You can buy it. It's $30 for the for the coin crate to be able to put your coins in. It's $30 plus shipping. And you can order that as well with the coins. So it'd be $80 for all 3 coins in the crate itself. So that's on our website, cachefest.com. You can go there and click on the buy now coins, the coin pre-event coins, and that's where the crate is there. So wanted to get that in there. And that was a great segue talking about coins. And I had to throw it in there real quick. Yeah, that was planned. So that's what that was. So there's those. So go check it out. And all that, of course, helps us with the event coming up here in Memphis next year in July. So, all right, back to
Stephanie, you said you're a pat tag person. Are you a coin person too, or just pat tags?
I have a whole box of both. I'm crazy.
I've heard you were a coin person, so
yeah, I think I'm helping fund geocaching. I do. Yeah, I love coins. I love coins. I love the pair tags. I like collecting, like even the merch. I don't know. I'm addicted. I'm a little addicted to that stuff. I think I just like bought $100 worth of the 5 boroughs and our goalie member coin, and one from just recently, like an event. I didn't even go to the event, but it was like right on my, like the next day after my birthday. So I'm like, I gotta have it. It's like a birthday coin.
That's funny. The event coins are neat, and sometimes event coins sometimes are like really fancy because, you know, it goes a lot into it or whatever. And you just confessed to having an event coin of an event you didn't go to. Derek, will you admit that?
Yeah, I try to buy the events at every event I go to, and I try, and you know, any commemorative, like when I was fined in cash, I bought every fined, you know, one, every hide one that they were up to, any cool ones that I like, and, you know, the Saito, anything that like also a souvenir, like when they had all those, you know, even the travel bugs or trackables, those,
right?
I get those. Like I think all the wonders of the world, I have all those. I'm bad. I have a whole bag of the keychain trackables. I have a whole box of coins, and then I have 4 of my own path tags, so I like to trade a lot. And I have,
and that was one of my great finds at Mingo, was getting your couple of your path tags this last year.
Yes, so we all were in where the heck were we? Texas.
Was it Texas or Mingo?
No, I didn't get to go to Mingo.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was at Challenge. You were at Challenge.
That's right.
Well, in Texas, we all exchanged. Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know how many path tags you have?
No, I actually don't. I have, like, I put 10 pages per book, and I don't know how many the page hold. No, I should count that. I never really counted that. It's probably on my path tag page, but I never looked. Does that tell you how many you have?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many path tags or coins I have, but
okay. Yeah, I don't even know how many coins I have. I just know that I'm like, my box is filling up because I have, you know, in the beginning. Oh, and I have all the GIF, the gift coins, and and anytime it's international, Geocache, what's the other one? Earth Cache Day.
Right, Earth Cache Day. Yep.
All of them.
I actually bought an Earth Cache event coin of an event that was over before I even knew it happened. But it was just a really cool coin. So I bought it.
Yeah, they're cool. I just buy like anything that had a horse on it. I bought anything. Oh, even the bat, because like Batman. So the ones that just anything that was like what I was into. That you know, if they had ones with roller derby on it, that would be mine. But I was just looking, and I have all the Geo Talk ones. I have all the worldwide.
One. Yep. So Ryan's saying he's got 1 or 2 coins. He's lying. He does have 1 or 2 coins.
Thousands.
Yeah, 1 or 2 thousand
in one room. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely not. There's people. The guy who got me into iDoc, one of our local geocaches. He's a huge path tag, and I'm like, wow! I just got so into his collection that I started I copied like the books,
right?
Like, and all the and then I got tags, and he like started me off with my collection. He gave me all of his, and that was like probably a whole book in itself.
Now there's also, and it's still up for bid right now, but there's a collection or an NFT of yours that's up for bid right now that people can collect.
Geocaching too.
Well, it can't. I mean, yeah, it's collecting. I mean, it's people are collecting stuff, but yeah. So tell us a little bit about. Do you know what an NFT is or anything like that, or what?
What this for the show? Supposed to do that part. Putting me on the spot. No, like.
Oh, hey, we just got a super sticker. So hey, I want to thank this person. I don't know how.
all right, Gary. You can at least try to pronounce his name.
It's Henrique Q's. Sorry, but thank you. For
yes,
thank you.
We appreciate it, and you get the pleasure of us butchering your name. Unfortunately,
yes.
We're terrible.
Yeah.
But we're very appreciative of it, though.
So, if you don't know what an NFT is, it's a non-fungible token. It is a unique and non-interchangeable unit of data storage on a blockchain, a form of the digital ledger. And NFTs can be associated with reproduction digital files such as photos, videos, and audio. And this company has actually created one of yours, and I'm gonna add it here so everybody can see it. but this is actually the NFT that is up on bid right now. So it's got you on there, back when you were wrestling, and then on the back of it has the stats about you going doing the moonsault that we saw earlier. But this is up for bid on. It's called was it okay Boomer. It's an okboomertoken.com is where you can go see it and bid for it. So I think the bidding goes till January 22nd or something like that. That you can actually bid this, be able to get this digital it's like a souvenir, digital representation of this, and be the only one in the world to be able to have this. This is like a collectible, like how people trade artwork now. So
Memphis, get him out. Oh
yeah. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want you to show me up. So what do you do with this NFT thing? Just for people that like me that don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't do anything with it because they created it. It's like,
well, you're the superstar. You're on it. Derek, can you explain it to us in like normal people terms?
Yeah.
It's like a collection. You can collect art and people can actually buy it from you. I mean, somebody was selling one this last week. It was some type of monkey thing, and it was really weird, but it was supposed to be $80,000. Somebody got the decimal point wrong, and it went for $8,000. I mean, it's just people are trading it like art gallery, and it's the way it's digitally. It has like a digital code mark on it, so nobody can duplicate it. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. It's a different type of. It's like it's the form of crypto, really. It works in the same aspect of crypto. Is it
like artwork, or is it something like you put on a profile somewhere, or you just own it somewhere? How does
you
it
own
work?
It somewhere? It is what I understand.
Okay.
I've friends have gotten a few, but I haven't dove into that part of it. It's kind of I don't completely understand it, and there are a lot of them are too pricey for me to do. But I was thinking earlier, how cool would it be if we actually started doing our own NFTs for geocaching, that people would be able to buy different things, because you can actually take a picture and turn it into an NFT.
Yeah. Maybe we'll figure that out one day, but for now, don't take any financial advice from this show. Only
nope,
come
this
here
is
for
all
geocaching.
Entertainment. Don't
This is 100% geocaching entertainment. Anything else is probably not true. So we'll go with that for now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that we've thoroughly confused everybody.
This really came from that. Like the head of our goalie got me involved, and then then it went from there.
Ryan says, sounds like another thing to lose in my computer files.
Yeah.
If you're on the
computer, I assume you don't want to lose that. Those sound like they're expensive.
Yeah, they can be. And I don't understand it.
Doing it, it's at like Athletes and Stars, and like I guess, and then it's backed by a coin in the crypto market or something.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I think that one's used by Ethereum, which is when the more coins here.
Isn't that what makes Superman sick?
No, that's Krypton.
Okay. All right, I was close.
Kryptonite. It's Kryptonite, not Krypton. Well, Krypton was the planet, so in part of
don't hire me as your hedge fund manager or whoever manages funds like this. Digital person, don't hire me as that person. Yeah. Okay, so no, back to geocaching. Actual geocaching now. Now you actually were very successful this year, right? Because didn't you go on a streak this year?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to get to 5,000, so I'm close.
But you've been doing every day in a row for a while, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I was doing that. We had some challenge, and I don't know, was I doing? Oh, no, I wasn't doing it for the challenge, but it just worked out that way because goalie puts up all these challenges, but I wasn't even doing it for the challenge. I just had like a streak of a losing streak of one. I hated that I would look at that, and it was like my highest number. So I wanted to put a higher number on my phone. So I was just trying to beat that number out so I didn't have to look at it anymore, even though it's still there. You should be able to
looks like you have 130 is your longest slump, and you beat it with 160 of your longest streak. That's pretty good.
I did that just to beat the stupid without that 130 number. But
that's a good long streak. I did 103 days and it about killed me, and my kids about wanted to kill me too.
But what is your longest slump?
Well,
mine?
Isn't that like
yours is 130 and 160, so she beat hers.
300 and something. I haven't beat mine.
Oh yeah, mine's 619. So I'll never beat
over
it.
a year off at one point.
People here
I took 619 days off, so I'll never get there.
Oh wow, yeah, I'll never. Yeah, that streak was the hardest thing to do, and there's people here that did it for 366 days, like every day. Or there was some guy I think's doing it every day for years and years. I'm like that.
Oh yeah.
What was the longest? Was it 10 years?
I don't even know. That's like when I was doing that.
He's been on the show before. I just don't remember what his name is. Somebody in the chat could probably put it in there.
Yeah, there's people that are doing it for like 10,000 days or some crazy like. No.
Those people need an award. That's like I would love to keep every day. It's just hard. Like when you deplete your area, then it's like becomes.
I think those people need to be checked out. What are you talking about? That is insane. How can you do that? That's just 555 days, 370 days, and we almost quit the game. I was ready to. My whole family was ready to like quit the whole game and like we're never doing this again. We're done.
Yeah, because when you make it a job,
that's way tougher than me.
Yeah, because when you make it like a job, like I have to get one every day, and then it's like it becomes like too stressful. Like I probably would do one every day if I didn't like say I have to, because I love going every day. But yeah, I try to keep some in my area so that I always like have one if I want to just go, but that never works because if they're right here, I have to get them. It's right there. How are you not getting that?
Yeah, just trying to think of the miles that you'd have to drive. Definitely don't clear out your own area. That's what's crazy.
Right now I'm doing it because I'm trying to get this 5,000. I'm like, I literally feel like I drive an hour just to get, and then I have to cash for like, I have to do, now I'm going to have to do like 30 a day. So I'm going to have to.
You need to get some people in your area to just start putting out a bunch of caches for you.
Come on. Luan, you heard that, right?
Look, you got somebody else jumping in. They're happy about the NFT mention.
Yeah. And also gave us $5 too. So thanks
awesome.
to Geotrail.
That's great. That helps us keep the lights on. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So what would ever make you, could you ever imagine a scenario where you would go for the full 1 year streak?
Yeah. No. No, I don't even know how. That's like hard to do because like I said, you can't have anything else to do. I feel like if you had to do that. If you lived in like an area where there was so many, like I don't even know how people, you know why I couldn't do it? I'll explain. Because see those power trails and sometimes people go and they'll get one and then the next day they'll get one and then the next day they'll get one. I can't do that. If there's like 10 in a park, I have to get all 10 in one shot. I can't just do like one a day because if there's like 20 in my area, I have to get all 20. And if I don't, I'm like mad and I probably won't sleep and I'll have to do it tomorrow, the next day. So I can't do one at a time. I'm more like I like numbers in a day. Not that I'm all about numbers. It's just like, I just can't do one a day. I'm like, ooh, this was fun. I want another one. I want another one. Ooh, that was fun. I want another. Or if there's just like an area and I see the dots, I'm like, it's like, I just want to like accomplish the dots in the area that I want to do.
Well, yeah, Ryan mentioned start a streak when you move to a new area. Now that's smart. If you're brand new to an area, don't find the cache closest to your house. Wait, you'll need that one later.
But you don't know that when you start. Usually, like when you start cache, you're like, oh, you get everything right in your area. Like, I get everything. I didn't learn that. If someone told me slow down, like to fill your calendar, then it was like, oh, okay, stop getting all the ones in the area, or like save one for a rainy day, or like an event, or this and that, or a challenge. Yeah.
Well, that's it was hard for us to do our 370, and there was 4 of us. So like my wife could go. We cache as a team. So it's not just me, right? So she would go out and find one night. I'd go the next night. By the end, we were just like, we started hosting a weekly event just so we could knock one day off the week. We were struggling by the end, and now we found them all. We found them on those days or whatever, but we definitely scouted ahead of time and like would solve a puzzle and like go and peek and make sure it's there and then come back and sign it the next day or whatever. We'd get ready. We did every trick we thought we could do. And still feel okay with ourselves ethically to get it done. But it was not something I'll ever want to do again.
Well, I didn't do the calendar in like 1 year straight because like I didn't even know about it in the beginning. So then like my second and third, like I was looking, I'm like, then once like people started telling me about, the stats, like I didn't even know about those. And then when I started looking, then you give yourself, that's my problem. Once I give myself a challenge, then I'm like, I become a nut. So like, then I had to fill the calendar and I had to pick days and it was like crazy. Like right now I have like 6 or 8 left on my DT and I'm going crazy, but there's one cache in Long Island to fill my DT. So I'm like, I have to wait till I travel to even do that.
So you mentioned the challenges. Are you driven by the challenges? Like if you find a challenge, is that what you're doing after that? Like you find a new challenge and it challenges you for something. Is that your new focus?
I try not to challenge myself because it's only my mental brain. Like if once I say it to myself, then I can't stop. But like our group, like the goalie group, they put out challenges all the time. And I've been good. I'm like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. So that I don't go crazy. But once, like, if I just say it to myself, then, it's like the brain snaps and I have to do it. But I could stay away from a lot of challenges. I'm like the first to find thing. I like totally shut my brain off to that. I'm like, don't even care. And
it depends on what the challenge is, right? Like FTF, I'm the same. I don't care. I forget to even log FTFs. I'll just log in as a regular cache. And I know that makes people mad, so I'll go back and fix it or whatever. But it has to be something I'm interested in. But once I find one of those challenges out there and you're like, oh, this is something I'm going to do, I can't forget about it until I'm done. Like it's always in the back of my head. I'm going to keep thinking about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm become mental like this. I'm mental over this 5,000 before the end of the year. Like what's the big deal if I went got 5,000 right like 2 days after? But no, I'm like, no, because I said it in my head. Like I did that when I first started. I'm like, I was like 1,000 in a year. I was like coming to my first year and I'm like, I have to get 1,000. I literally did like almost 400 in a month. And I was like going on 8-hour days into woods with myself and getting everything and 4 batteries and limping out. I was nuts. I was like, I was telling you guys who I was like, I have a job because I felt like I was out like every day, all day long.
Right. So how close are you to the 5,000?
I need 100.
100? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so down to the last 100.
Solid days. Could do that. 25 a day, 4 solid days. I'm good.
And especially if there's any labs. Yeah, if you have any adventure labs or whatever near you, those are easy. Knock that out. Do you really?
No, you know what? I don't like when they have an order, and reason to have an order because I missed one, and then I'm like, and then I don't like to go back because I'm like I'm on a mission when I'm care, and I really don't like to go back and backtrack. But I'm getting used to them. They're just like. You know, I don't like that you have to switch 2 apps. Like I know you could see the on the app, but you have to open it and then it's on another app. And then I miss caches, I miss them, and I'm like, I need to see it all in front of me. Like I need somebody with the other. I need 2 phones. Like that's what I think I'm going to have to resort to.
It is. I think they're going to merge them eventually, but I think as of right now, and now in Cachely you can see both, right?
Yes, you can, and I think you can. Actually, I think they've changed it as well. In the main one, you can actually see adventures as well. So,
but you still have to go to the other app to actually do them. But you can see where they are. So if you're planning your day or you're going along, you can see them in that regular app now.
Yeah, I'm jumping in real quick just to. I use Cachely all the time. I know I can see them in Cachely. I'm just gotta verify if I can see them in.
I used to
this
use
other one. Yes, you can see them. You can see them now in the main app as well.
I should get back on that. I forgot. I just forgot how to use that.
So which app do you use?
Just the Geocache one. I used to use Cache, but then when I stopped caching for a while, and I kind of forgot how to use it. I just didn't go back on it because I tried to, but then I'm like, I don't know how to use it, and I'm always I'm always fast, so I don't have time to figure it out. So I just go back to what I know. But I want to get back on that too and check it out because I know it's a good site, but.
Now, you mentioned missing one, so that makes me curious because I'm kind of like you are when it comes to once the challenge gets in my head. How do you handle DNFs?
Oh, I never get DNFs. No.
So what happens when you go out there if you can't find something? What happens?
Comes back with the owner comes back. I'll camp out till he comes with it and puts it back, and then. Yeah, I can't leave without a DNF.
She goes out and wrestles them back. Goes find his house,
right.
wrestles them back to the cache. Where is it?
No, you know what? I'm all right. I really don't like to give up on something, but if there's too many people around and it's holding me up, then I don't log it because it wasn't really do not find. It was just too much. If there's muggles or activity and I can't really, do it. And I really, thank God, I haven't really found it. I haven't had a DNF in a while. I mean, you used to back in the day, but I would really, really try for a long time. And then once you learn, you're look on the floor, look around for a big giant perimeter. I will literally, I'll look all over the woods, even if the coordinates are right here. I'll go like all around, like the floor, under the leaves, dig everything up, because I have found ones that were like haven't been found. I remember with a group, but there was one that hasn't been found for like, I forget how long. It was really a long time, and there was a lot of us looking, so it helped. But like, you know, I'm relentless. I won't give up. But you know, if it's like, if the light post cache and it's not there, then you know.
Yeah, that's different. But
it's a DNF, and that's just, I'm all right with it. I've learned, like, it's kind of like when you lose. Like, I was never a good like loser at sports, so I became better at it. I'm not a sore loser anymore. So I'm right with DNFs now. I'm like, I don't love them, and I don't really like to walk away. But now I will like kind of look at it. If there's too many blues, I like or even a blue, I might not even go for, because I'm like, I don't even have time if it's not there.
Yeah.
I like to find the ones that people can't find, like if they're new, a beginner, and they didn't find it. But sometimes
that's the best. When the last like 2 or 3 is a DNF, I like those. I'll go after those sometimes just because I want to find it when other people haven't. That makes it. I have trouble walking away from a DNF. I have a lot of trouble walking away from one. But you know, I had a few for a while that were like, there was one that was in a local park. It was like at the edge of a local park, and it was there. I know it was there, but for some reason, I could not spot it. I just couldn't spot it. And it wasn't even a high difficulty. It was like a 2 or something. It was something low. I think I went to that thing like 18 times before I finally found it. I think my daughter found it. I didn't even find it. My daughter found it.
Oh, my God. That did happen to me. Oh, and just recently. But that happened to me back when I first started. There was one that I went for like 7 or 8 times. It was like by on one of our trails in the rocks. It was called like a Message in a Bottle. That one took me forever. Oh my God. I just kept, I kept going back, but I was newer, so I wasn't as mad at DNFs. You know, I would go back, but now that I feel like I'm experienced, I don't want to deal with it. But I was traveling, and there was one, and it was, I had to go quick because we were away and we were testing jet skis, and we had to go, but I was in the woods. I'm like, this is like, it's gotta be right here. And I had to put the DNF because I'm like, it's not there. And then they archived it. And I didn't realize they archived it, and we went back there because we would test the jet ski. And I'm looking, and it was archived. But then I'm like, what happened? I'm like, now I'm looking on the map, and it's not there anymore. And he said he archived it, but he goes, it might still be there. I didn't go and take it down, and I found it. I'm like, I went back and I found it. I think it had a lot of DNFs, and people couldn't find it, so he just archived it.
Such a win. It's such a win when you do that, though.
I was like, yes, I finally found it. It was a hard one too. It was like a little, very high up. It was like 10 feet up, but hanging on like a tree. And it was a bison, but wrapped in the pine. Like he actually made it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow, I can't believe I missed that last time, but it was high up. And I don't think the hint really gave that away. Like it was, it was really high. You had to like look up and pull the branch down and get it, or get a stick to pull it down. I'm like, that's really hard.
So I hear you're a big puzzle cacher. Is that true?
That makes me laugh. I thought you were going to say, I actually do puzzles, like hand puzzles. Like I do love, and I'm like a freak. I have like, and I save them all. I'm a million. But yeah, puzzle caches. No, I don't ever want to say I hate caches, because I love all parts of caches. But oh my God, I stink at it. I'm literally bad. I don't really like to admit that I'm ever bad at anything, but I'm bad at puzzle caches. I'm like, and I had a friend that used to solve them all for me, and then I used to like go get them all. Like she had a bad knee, so I would go in the woods, whatever. She'd park, I climbed fences, and I was like, I loved our exchange, because I'm like, she would just solve them. Like I can't.
It's a good team.
Yeah, that's a great team.
I even have the book. Cully, I love your book, but I don't know how to read it. It's like
so you mentioned that, but you found a lot of puzzle caches.
Well, again, there's some that are easy. I didn't realize, like I used to, one time when I first got into cache, I think what stopped me from it is the one that was right in my neighborhood that I didn't even know what they were yet. I'm like, oh, what's these blue things? I open it up and I'm like, what? It was the hardest one I think ever created online. I wish I knew the name of it. And people did say that is so hard. It was like, you wouldn't even know how to start, or it was nothing like that you ever knew in your life. Like, sometimes they're logic and you're like, oh, okay, I know how to do that. It's math, or it's this or it's that. This was like nothing you ever knew before. You had to just like know this person and their brain, or I don't even know. But I could never stop, and it just was staring me in the face all the time. I think someone finally like we did it together. But so after that, I was like, that's what these things are. I never opened up a blue question mark ever again. But then I'm like, slowly, I'm like, oh, these are the only ones on my map right now, so I have to open them because I'm like, I need a cache. And when I realized some of them were like easier puzzles, then I'm like, yeah, the jigsaw ones. That was one of our what do you call those? The art things. A lot of those. Yeah, Geoart. So a lot of those are the puzzles. So a lot of them were literal puzzles that you do on. And you know what? I want to say those are easy, but I don't really love puzzles on the computer. Like I like doing them on the table, but oh my God, they're a pain in the neck because I've lost them in the middle of doing them. I'm like completing them and then you lose it and then you don't get the coordinates. I'm like, oh.
So obviously I was setting you up, right, with the puzzle thing, but I did that because Gary told us to ask you about a certain puzzle that you completed. Cache Sight Unseen.
Oh, that
is a 5-4, by the way. So saying that you don't do puzzles well, if you did that one, that's pretty much almost as hard as they get.
Yeah, but I can't take any credit for that because we went as a group, you know, and I think, yeah, I tried to help because I knew that I'm like, they're going to think that. And I went in the beginning, like when I first started. So I didn't even know anyone yet. And they just like, I think I went to a couple events. So then they had a Facebook page and everybody would talk about going. And I'm like, all right, I'll go with these people like they're invited. But I didn't really know anyone yet. But I'm like, if I don't go with them, I'll never be able to do this ever myself, you know. And so I went with a group of, they were all great. I kind of knew them from events, but didn't know. But I said, I don't want to feel like I'm so useless on this. So I tried to get them out. There was some easier puzzles. There was like a jigsaw puzzle. There was like a 3D glasses and put something together. So I could do those. But thank God we had like the group of people that we had because you needed everybody to do that. And I was trying to do all of them. I wanted to see what they were about. But I'm all right with hands-on puzzles. I'm just not good at like, I don't want to have to think too much. Like I don't want to have to like solve these really hard. Like right now there's one in our neighborhood that is with our goalie group and it's like a serious puzzle and you get like a badge if you do it. So I really want the badge. Project Dragonfire. I can't do it for anything. I can't solve it. Someone else.
How do you get a badge from it? The owner made one or?
No, like on the, you know, like on the computer and you can put, like you guys did with the wrestling.
Oh, like a digital souvenir kind of deal?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Cool. Yeah. And I think, I don't know if you get a path tag. You know, sometimes you get things when you saw, but that one I really want to solve, but I can't. But yeah, the Sight Unseen, we went with, oh, this is a great story. We went with 10 people and it's like a snowstorm day and it's raining. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, these people, they're not canceling this. They went, I showed up and I'm like, totally, I know how to dress for this. I snowboard. I'm like snowmobile. I'm like hiker. I have full snow gear on. I show up and all these people are like, they're in jeans, sneakers, work boots. And I'm like, oh my God. And they didn't want to cancel. I wanted to go home. Like, we're going to do this. It's raining. It's snowing. And they were like, they didn't cancel. I'm like, I can't back out. I got to go. You know, I give these people all the credit in the world. They're like hiking through the snow and the rain in not the right gear. And, you know, I'm like running around like a maniac. This is what I do. So it was easy for me. We were 8 hours. We were from like morning till like the sun went down doing that cache. And when we came out, the group that did it before had like donuts and coffee for us. It was so great. It was awesome.
Oh, that's a great experience. And that's something you don't come upon that very often where there's a cache that iconic where people, you know, revel in finishing that cache and then the past group. And that, I think that there should be more of that in geocaching. That's the fun stuff, right? And again, I think that's 100% valid. The very first really difficult cache I did, which was like a multi-stage, all day, underground in tunnels, 5-5 puzzle cache. There was a dozen of us there. We spent all day doing it, and I don't know how one person would do it. It'd take a month or something, but for me, I love that. I haven't had that many experiences where you get a whole group of people together just to go and do a cache, right? I think those are great.
Yeah, we used to have a good plan, like the people in our community used to plan, like Chris, this Zeppelin DT used to plan it, and all the other, like they were planners and they did it, so it was good. I love caching with the group. I've cached with a lot of I've cached with I think Jeremy. He's the one that plots. You do the greatest plotting. You know, whether you do the route, Jeremy. I don't know. He's on there.
Well, here's somebody. Joe said it's Ro and Joe. So there's a pad tag now for Project Dragon, so you're going to have to obviously do it now for the pad tag.
I know. There was a challenge too for this guy Scotty Too Hot. If you get 100 of his, he has a pad tag. And I want to do that challenge so bad, but I know it's like Queens and Nassau County. I don't get that way that much, but that's on my list of challenges too. But yeah, Project Dragonfire. I'm trying. You got to see. I literally have notes. I look like I'm a scientist on my table. I have the puzzle book. I have note paper and pens and charts and graphs, and I'm trying to figure it out. I can't.
Sounds like you need to get a group together for that one then.
That one I might have to. I miss the group caching, and I went out with a lot of groups and had so much fun caching. But like I started alone, and then I did a lot of group, and I'm back to alone. But hopefully the groups will get back, and But yeah. I've definitely. I remember
that one. So Jeremy said that's the GC15NP2 is sight unseen, so he knows about that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I'm amazed at the owner, how like the time and effort and creativity put into that, because amazing. Like it's always amazing when I see the people that like the caching that he puts out really creative, awesome caches. We have another guy, Mushnikas. Everyone that puts like that effort into it, I love. Rowan Joe and the Iggy. We've got so many people that do like these really awesome caches and I can't say I do that. I really literally just hide. I try to hide big caches in the woods. That's just my thing. I'm a traditional cacher through and through, but I try everything. I love every level. I love trackables. I love pet. I try to get into events, and I try to do all, but I'm a traditional cacher through and through.
Yeah. It looks like you've done pretty much everything as far as finding caches or whatever. Is there anything that you're missing that you haven't done yet? Haven't tried yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Have you done a scuba cache?
No, right. I don't think we have any here. So yeah, I would like, of course, me, I would love to do one of those. We have water caches, but nothing we had to go into water yet. Yeah, that I would definitely love to do. Yeah, I do. And there's one, I think, like close up in Nassau that's like, you have to crawl through a sewer, kind of like our suburban spelunking, but this one's even like scary. You have to, I think it's called Room 101. It was on my list, and I was doing a whole power trail over there, but I think you would get wet, and I was biking, and I didn't attempt it because I think that's why my husband left me, because it was too crazy caching. I almost did it a few times caching. But
have you are you a scuba diver?
Yes.
I mean, not that surprises us at all, of course.
No, not at all.
Stunt work, you have to build your resume. I think I kind of do everything. I don't know. I think I do.
Well, there's definitely some scuba caches out there. You might have to travel to do it, but
I don't mind.
Some out there.
I've been everywhere. The problem was there was probably one maybe in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii. I would think maybe one there in Aruba, but I'm also vacationing, so that's the only thing when I'm traveling. Like I would like to stop at some other roses and do better caches, but usually when I'm traveling, it's like just grab what's like close by that that's what I did. I got an RV. That was my dream, to RV all around the US and get geocache in every state. That's my goal right now, my mission for 2022. So I already got like, I think almost the whole East Coast. But I know there's like better caches to do over here, but I'm like literally when I'm like driving through 10 states, I'm just like grabbing whatever's quick.
Right. And that led to at least a question from Zodak. How many states have you actually gotten?
I think I have like 25 or 7. I don't know. I have like a lot of the East Coast and then a couple Midwest and like probably like 1 or 2 on the.
Looking it up, you actually have 32 states.
Oh, I do? Thank you.
Look at that.
I don't even know my stats. I try to like look at them and study them, but.
Yeah, you can't get caught up in that. You're a in the moment cacher. It sounds like.
Yeah, I really am. I like stats, and I like, to fill, like, just to fill them up. So they're like, that's another thing. Like when I see it empty, it's like, that's a mental goal in my head. Like I want to fill those graphs all up that I have to look at all the time. Like if the graph's not on the page, I'm all right. But if like I'm scrolling through it and I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to fill in my whole world because it's empty.
Well, of course.
So my brain, it wants to do all that, my DT thing. But I think, I got the 366. I don't think I have. I probably need a couple for like finds by month or hides by month. Mm-hmm. And I think I might need like 2 for the attributes. I don't know. Because I don't think there's like a rock climbing attribute out here either. We don't really have rocks.
Probably not. Probably not so much.
And I love rock climbing. I'm a huge rock climber too. Like, so, you know, I have the gear and I do it without the gear. I'm nuts. And I've been to like Virginia and places to rock climb, and I love the indoor. But yeah, we don't have that in Long Island. And I think when I did a lot of that stuff, I traveled cross country like 3 or 4 times, and I wasn't caching at the time. So that's a bummer. I think I did like 22 states or 44 states. I don't know. Oh, I went to Hawaii. So Alaska, I'm going to, that's another thing. Alaska for my birthday this year. I'm going to, well, my birthday already passed, but that was my birthday gift's going to be to go to Alaska.
That is on our short list too. We got our Alaska trip for our anniversary was canceled because of COVID. Yeah. But that is the on the very top of our list of traveling now is Alaska. Yeah. We want that to be our 50th state though. So we got a couple more states to pick up and then we're going to go to Alaska. So
yeah, see, I'm trying to I got Hawaii out of the way. I'm trying to get Alaska out of the way because then I could do the US like in my camper at my leisure. But yeah, I was going to go to Italy and that got canceled because of COVID. So that was my COVID canceled trip.
Do you think the RV thing will happen in 2022?
Well, I already used it. I already did things like a lot of East Coast stuff because, you know, we're still learning how to use this thing and do it and see if we liked it. But I went to Niagara Falls, which I never did, that I live here all this time. And went all the way down to Florida and hit like all the states, like coming back. And, and we got it in Ohio. So we got it. We drove to Ohio, got the RV, then went to Michigan and like couple, you know, states over there, and then drove home from Michigan. And that's when we went to Niagara Falls. And I want to do like all the, you know, the Eternal Flame and see all the parks up in New York. There's so many parks. Like,
yeah.
So I'm going to do that. And we went to Montauk in the RV, just like little trips, like local and, or, you know, see, but we drove all in Florida, stood there and went then, I think, to like but just drove through everything, grabbed the cash and, you know, slept or whatever we had to do. But I would like to stop Virginia Tim's and really like do those things.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You got to stop there.
Yeah.
But I think I did, but I know I didn't do like any good cash. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I just go through and you have to grab the cash. It's probably like at a rest stop or like right off the highway or something.
Do you have any big RV trips already planned for next year, or are you just hoping to get in it and do some trips?
Oh yeah, no, nothing exactly planned, but that's what it is. I love just getting in that, and you know, when we have the time, we like do 2-week trips, and now we have to like encroach, you know, a little Midwest or a little more west of us. But yeah, nothing serious about it. Alaska is just like our next plan thing, but we might be going to Florida, moving to Florida, so like that's been like on the docket right now, like going there and looking for houses and stuff. So you know, this life goes on, so you can't really just plan a lot of trips on your RV. But I definitely want to hit I don't know if it will be with the RV though, but I definitely want to hit headquarters for the big 20th thing. So that's my agenda.
An RV in the middle of Seattle may not be your best idea, but you can always park it on the edge and drive in. So
that's far too, but
yeah.
But I've done that trip. I've done that trip like camping and golfing. I went, you know, I drove cross country camping all over. I did all those sites. But yeah, give us a shout out. You come to try. Oh, that's cool. Yep. I will.
Yeah. Eternal Flame is on a lot of people's bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's right here. I can't believe I had, like, that's what I'm saying. There's so much beauty, like, so close to you. You don't even really have to, besides the beauty and the caching. It's like, sometimes I think of the caching first, but there's, like, so much to see, too.
So, outside of RVing, in 2022, do you have anything, like you mentioned a couple things you want to try to fill in and everything else. Do you have any things you want to try to hit in 2022 as far as geocaching goes? Do you set a goal like that, or you just take it as it comes?
Well, I take it as it comes because, like I said, I don't like to set too many goals because then it becomes crazy, and then you're like, you know, I never like to take the joy out of it. I don't ever to become like a job, because I think when I was doing that streak, it was getting, you know, I love caching every day, but you know, sometimes it's hard. Like you can't. That's why I just love that this hobby could do anywhere. You know, like when I'm traveling, I always make sure I get, you know, we're always like driving to Jersey or Pennsylvania and everything. So I'm always grabbing caches, and when we go on trips, I'm always grabbing caches. Yeah, unfortunately, my boyfriend doesn't love caching so much. It's not his number one thing in the world like me. So he's like, does everything have to be about that? I'm like, yeah, kind of, because it can be involved and be everything. You know, he's like, I'm like, the RV is so we can cache everything. He's like, no, the RV is so we could like go travel and see everything. I go, yeah, well, and geocache.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too.
You can do it. It's even if you say it's about everything, it just comes natural. That's what's great about it. It's everywhere. It's everything you can do. So, but
he's not a big cacher, but he is a boat guy, right? And we don't have to talk about him if you don't want to be on the show or whatever. But he is a boat guy. So if you do move to Florida, there's absolutely a cache that you would both enjoy.
Well, he brings me to all the boat ones here, which is funny. When we were first dating, we used to fly by everything. I'm like, there's a cache there. I want to stop. And he was like a speedboat where he's just going by. And I would never have these water caches. And then finally I'm like, no, that's it. I have to stop. I'll just bring my jet ski there because I was not getting all these water caches. And then finally he brought me to every water cache on the water. And he's like, are you done? Are you done? You got them all? I'm like, yes, for now.
Yeah. And I've got to personally meet him. Very nice guy, of course.
Yes,
and a couple people in the chat room mentioned they've met him, and he's a very nice guy.
He did come to Texas. Well, he had car racing there, so I was like, well, if you're going to car race, I have to go to a geo event.
There you go.
The trip, and same thing with Kansas. You know, I'm like, we have to geocache, and we did. Oh my god, we did. He was a good sport because we did a power trail, and I think we did either like 160 in one day or 140 or something crazy like that. And he was a good sport because I mean, we just kept going, and we could have probably even did more. Kansas or Texas, I forget, just had power trails forever.
Oh yeah, they're out there for sure.
He was like, "Are we done yet?" And I'm like, "Well, there are more," but he's like, "But you don't have enough yet." I'm like, "Well, but there's more." I forget, like when we were at 100, he thought that's good, but he's like, what's your highest caches in your day? He wanted to beat it. He's competitive too, so he's like, oh, you did 120, so we have to do more than that. And I think that I just, I kept, there was points where he was just driving though, and probably texting and the dog's in the car with us. So I'm like, I just kept going, yeah, keep going. Or I would start running to the next 5 because, they're only like 500 feet away. So I'm like, and I would just keep going. And then I'd be a mile away. You have to like, oh, you're all the way down there. Let me go pick you up. So I'm like, I think I added, he said we had to beat 120. And I think we got up to 160, I think. So he's a good sport.
Wow.
Hey, the competitive nature will do it. But so I'll give it to you after the show. But Ed Watson is a bad man. That's the cache y'all need to do if you move to Florida.
Oh, okay.
You have to boat. Yeah, it's a 5.5 virtual. It's a really old cache, and you have to like go out into the middle of the Everglades, the middle of nowhere, and boat out. You can only boat to it, and it's like a hard place to boat to. So y'all will both enjoy that one. I'll give you the info after the show. We've talked about it several times on the show, but that one will fit both of you because you have to have a boat.
Yeah,
that's not like a kayak. You have to have like a true motorboat or whatever to get out there.
Well, we have a couple of those at jet skis. I did just get a fold up kayak, the Oru one, like because I'm like, when you did like I have a double kayak, but it's like heavy and big to bring, and I've done caches with that, but I'm like, ooh, let's try this thing. It folds up like a suitcase and will fit in my car. And I'm looking for those Long Islanders. I'm trying to get Mary's cache. Oh my god, this one's driving me crazy. It's on an island. And you're not really allowed to go in there, you're not allowed to swim, you're not allowed to do it. And I'm like, oh. And a lot of the people did it. They walked across the ice. I tried to do that this winter, and we had ice, but it wasn't that thick. And I was like, I don't care if I fall in. I was almost going to do it. How are you, Zach?
Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes
you have to just,
I'll get in a tube if I have to and paddle.
Yeah, I've almost killed myself with an inflatable kayak. I didn't have a foldable one, but I had an inflatable one, and it was brand new out of the box when I jumped out there by myself in a little river to do it. And I didn't realize there was multiple compartments you were supposed to inflate. So I missed one. It was really just like a big plastic towel by the time I got across the river. But, I didn't die, obviously. So it worked out.
Well, I think people have done this in their wader, so I think it's not that even deep. So I'm like, even if the ice cracked and I felt there, who cares? I'm like, I've been in cold weather. I've been in cold water. Who cares? But I'm like, this thing might be cool. I was going to buy like a little, like a kid kayak, just something like if I have to throw in the water real quick. But I've been practicing unfolding it and putting it together because it's a little it's not like easy 2-minute thing, but it's cool. I'm going to give it a try. That's my new Geo toy.
Well, there's a good number of kayaking caches in your area, isn't there?
Yeah, I got everything on the water now. I'm done. I did the kayaks. I go on jet ski. I've got all the water caches. So, one of the guy that hides a lot was like, why aren't you hiding again? Like, yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, I probably have to do that this year. I have to hide some because I have access to the water. I live on it. I have all the water toys. So I got to be fair and put some out now.
Yeah, you got to give back, right? I mean, you can only find so many without giving back.
I try. I have like 10 in the car ready to go. So
but you've actually hidden. It's a good point too. You've actually hidden quite a few caches, haven't you? Over 100.
Yeah, I think I might have. How many do I have? You're good with my stats. 150, maybe 100. I definitely over 100.
I can tell you. I can look it up. I never know for myself. So
I definitely have over 100, but some might be archived. But then I put out new ones. So
yeah, it looks like 118
or 188.
No, I have 100. Who put 100? They have 188, or I have 100.
No, I don't. You have 118. Yeah,
118. Okay,
that's a lot of caches to hide.
Yeah, I really like them. If I had more area, I'd probably even hide more. But I'm like, I like to do. I don't do the like micro things because I don't. I use containers that I have. I try not to buy a lot because I do buy a lot. Like I buy coin, and I was in Cash Crate for a year. And I used to buy everything. But I'm like, this is supposed to be, try not to spend $1 million in geocache. This is supposed to be a fun, free hobby. But
yeah, free. I don't know anybody that caches for free.
Yeah, no, because I drive around the world with my car. But I probably have wrecked my truck a lot. So the money into I run over everything. Like, I shouldn't say that because it's not really good. If there's a curb, I'm going over it. If I miss a parking lot and I'm like, damn. Like, I don't like to really waste time. I have a truck, so I'm a stunt driver. So, yeah. But, yeah, I love to hide. I would probably hide way more than that if I had a lot more area. Like I said, I have 10 caches in my truck. I just don't know where to really hide. I mean, they're big ones, so I need woods. And I don't like to go too far because you got to maintain. Like, I used to travel. I used to play roller derby, like, upstate. So I had ones up there because I went up there, like, 2-3 times a week. So I could totally maintain. And I was all around, but now, that's like harder. I can't really travel so much all the time because I'm always traveling.
So you do travel quite a bit. And you've been, I know because we've run into you, right, at a few megas. Do you have plans to hit some megas in 2022? I know everybody's kind of iffy on their travel, but
yeah, I don't care about the travel. I can't make plans for them because like I do fly by the seat of my pants and like what's going on, and we have to coincide, always when we're traveling. So, my boyfriend has a lot of events, so I will try to like coincide with his events, and then I'll try to, hit. I will, me, I would love to go to everything and do everything geocaching all the time, but I definitely I told him, I'm like, we have to go to Seattle though. We have to go to headquarters. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, that is definitely on my list, but I don't know, I don't even know of anything that's coming up. So I have to like then look and then see, because I never used to really know where the megas were and the events. Like you guys started telling me all of them. And I'm like, oh, I got to try to do this one. I got to try to do that one. But otherwise they weren't on the radar for like traveling. I love them. But, and again, it was with the groups that I went to them. Like I would have never known about those if it wasn't for when I went to Sight Unseen and then I started hanging out with the local geocaches, and then I would go to all the events with them. And I didn't even know how to do the adventure labs and the things that they did. Everyone else would do it, and I would just like go along.
So there's one in particular you need to go to next year.
Yeah,
it's in Memphis.
Okay.
It's in July.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ours. So you need to go. You got to meet us up that one because
meet us that one.
There's kayaking caches. There's all kinds of stuff to do there. So
I love Memphis anyway. I used to be there. I used to live in Nashville. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah. That's we're from Memphis and Nashville too. So it's a good area. It'll be a fun event too. So hopefully, world being what it is, hopefully you can make it down to Memphis and we can all go do some. There's actually, I know of, and I'll have to look it up, somebody that's there is a Memphis cacher, MPM 1125 is in the chat room tonight, but there's one particular thing that I think you would be perfect for. That there's I think it's a multi, but it's a really, really hard tree climb cache.
Oh, I love
that's in the Memphis area. Derek probably knows about it too, but like it's not tree climb, like
vertical extreme.
I forget the name of it, but I know there's a couple of them, but I mean, it's like gear, like tree climbing gear stuff.
Yeah, it's 76 feet up, and you have to do it with ascending gear. You cannot, there's no limbs or anything like that to get up to it.
I mean, if that wasn't one made for you, that's perfect.
I like gear. I don't like to carry a lot of gear, but yes, I love climbing.
Well, the CO will actually come out and bring the gear and set it up, and he'll. In fact, where it's at, the park ranger actually prefers that. To do it because he gets it all set up, and the guy that owns the gear is actually an arborist, so it's what he does. So
yeah, I did a big tree climb with the group. We went to do like a whole challenge because it was like Dumbledore's Tower, is a whole Harry Potter thing, and yeah, I should have had gear on that. I'm like, oh no problem, climbing the tree. I started climbing the tree, and the limb broke off like the first jump I went to do, and I'm like, oh my god, and it was so high that I'm like, ooh, I started getting nervous, but I had to do it, and it was an awesome climb. And I'm like checking every branch. I'm like, could you imagine stunt woman dies geocaching climbing a tree? That would not be good. That would not
be good. Have you ever climbed with gear like that before?
What?
Have you ever used ascending gear?
Yes, yeah, climbing all the
time. I'm so shocked.
But I really like free climb much better. And I'm stupid. I've done that like a lot, but it's crazy. And yeah, but I love gear too. Like I love descent. I love all that stuff. You know, we have to do at work. I've descended out of helicopters. So
we'll make sure there's enough crazy caches to entice you to come to Memphis this year.
You don't even have to. I love caching, so I'm good. I'm good on the ground too, because the challenge is fine. I'm like so into like when people are complaining about those like light post caches and like I'm like, oh my god, I remember the first time I found a light post cache. I thought it was like the most amazing thing in the world. I'm like, oh my god, this thing lifts. Are you kidding? So I'm not blown away by them anymore, but I never forget that was so cool back in the day. So I appreciate them every time I find them, and I'm always like, I would never complain about those. So I'm so easy going. Like find a pill bottle in the woods, I'm happy. I laugh because the other day there was like I was caching in the woods and there was all ammo cans. Matter of fact, that was one of the shots. It was someone's commemorative one. And it said 5,000. I took a great selfie with it because I'm going to use that one.
That's funny.
Cash. I'm not even going to make my own time. I'm just going to use that one because it was so awesome. So I'm finding all these ammo cans in the wood. I'm like, I feel like Willy Wonka, and I won a golden ticket. It was all gold ammo caches in this whole wood. That was a great series. I think it was Root Searcher and Clammy Bird and Spinball. I don't know. They all hit awesome caches. And then one of them was like a bison tube in the woods. And I think I go, yeah, because, I'm sick of finding all those ammo caches. I need I know it's like a funny log, but I'm like, I used to be like, why a bison tube in the woods? But it is challenging. It is cool. Yeah. It is. I don't mind anything. Yeah.
So because we pulled up your stats for the show, I did happen to see that you have not actually hosted an event ever.
No.
Shame.
I hosted with somebody, with my friend. I don't know if I was put on the. Yeah, no, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at organizing and planning. No, it's not my thing.
It doesn't take a lot now. So if somebody were to challenge you in 2022 to host at least one event,
that'd be so
now
hard.
That's going to be in your head. But I guarantee you, the people in your area, because they're here, they're in the chat room tonight. The people in your area would help you host your first event for sure. And all you have to do is just show up and be funny.
Yeah,
I'm not funny at all. Never.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. You've been having a ton of fun. You're fun. Yeah. Funny may be a trick, but fun. Okay, we'll do that.
The two different things. That might be fun. I'll admit maybe I'm fun, but not everyone will see that. But I don't know if I'm funny. I'm not really a funny person. but I'm silly.
But you have fun. Fun and funny are silly. There you go. Yeah.
Well, fun, yes. But I think what the problem is I'm not great. I don't want to say I'm not great at commitment. Because, like, if I commit to something, I'm going to be there. But I don't really like to be tied down and like, I would have to be there the whole time. I like flying in, doing my thing, and leaving when I have to leave. I have to go.
Well, it just so happens we have a couple people that are going to help you co-host now. So you have no excuses. We got a couple here. All you have to do is fly in and be you.
You know what the problem is? That was why I would always worry about things like even, committing to something like a show, because my work was so, Andy would know this. My work was so unpredictable, so to commit to something like 2 weeks in advance, and then, I'd get a stunt job and I can't show up, then I would feel terrible for letting anybody down. So I used to not be able to do wrestling shows or wrestling signings, or never mind anything like this, which didn't exist for like when I was first caching, or existed, but nobody was calling me to be on the show. But committing like to things, it's hard. It was hard for me at work, because work was like, when you got a job, you went, because it wasn't like I worked every day 9 to 5. My jobs were like whenever, so you always had to be on call. So that was always very hard to commit to anything. So I still have that in me, where it's like, oh, if I commit to that day, then what if I can't be there because of work, even though it's not as much like that. But yeah, if I got called, then I'd have to go. So I can't. That's why.
Yeah, that does make it hard. And,
it's in my blood. It's in my makeup.
Like we've mentioned many times in here, like hosting events and finding caches and hiding caches. Just like you mentioned, I'm the same way. Like, I don't like to hide anything that I can't maintain.
Yeah,
I want to be able to maintain it, but that's the style, right? Everybody has their own style, and that's where you have fun. Is you do what makes it fun for you.
Yeah, and when there was times where it wasn't, because maybe like when social media got involved. But now I'm learning how to deal with social media, because then it was like, wow, everyone complains a lot about caching. I thought cachers love caching, so I'm like, I gotta stay away from that. And then it was like. Well, it was like, I love the people, but sometimes there's always, it's life. Sometimes people aren't always great. So it's like, all right, I got to go solo again. I got to be with my animals. But yes, there's definitely a lot of people in this community that love, and I love geocachers as a whole. But yeah, so.
Yeah, you can't get, as I'm sure you're very well, you can't get caught up in a couple of negative people. Cachers in general are fun. They're adventurous. They're nice. When you go to a brand new area and you meet a cacher, they're always nice.
Yes.
It's rare that you find those people that are grumpy, and they were grumpy before they got to caching. So there's nothing you can do about them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think we went to an event, we had our dog, and I think like one person was like, because our dog is a service dog, and he came in with us, and mostly everybody's like, oh, how cute. That's how people claim. And I think that probably happens here too. But yeah, because we bring our dog almost like everywhere, especially when we're traveling. He comes with us. But but I don't. Yeah. It's like my escape, and I love it. And same thing with my horse. Most things I do it because I love it and I have fun. So never like anything to make it.
Somebody gonna host an event at the Eternal Flame. You're going to that one.
Yeah, we should. That's like amazing. Every time I have it on my watch list, so I get all the logs and I read them all the time. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. It's torturous when you put like all like the caches that you want to get on your log, and you're always reading them. You're like, it was awesome. Why aren't I there yet? How did I get there?
It can be very overwhelming if you start really just opening up the map and going, I want to go to all these places, and there's not enough time, and it's terrible.
Yeah, it is, because it's like traveling. Or like, if you want to travel the world, that's like, it's just like caching. You want to do all the ones all over the world, or all the cool caches. You want to do them all. So yeah, it can get very overwhelming. That's why you just gotta like take it as it comes and for what it is, and just enjoy it and love it. And that's like why I like how I try to always keep it. So I don't know.
That's a perfect way to describe that. That is perfect.
Yeah, I think like I heard of people like complaining about events. Could you imagine I held event? That's all people would do, complain, because it wouldn't be. I think it would be awesome, my event, but I would be like, you complained? What do you want to get body slams?
Yeah. But you know what? 99% of people will be very happy and are always happy at all the events. We've been to, Derek and I both have been to many mega events. Yeah. And there's always going to be somebody unhappy, but whatever. They're going to be unhappy anyway. But
how could you complain about getting another smiley? It's like a free smiley. You just had to show up.
Yeah. And it's, overwhelmingly people are super nice and fun at events.
Points, right? And you get to participate. Ideally, that's fun. But yeah, I would probably, if I really put my mind to it, because if I really put my mind to anything, I could do anything awesome. So I would probably have an awesome event. I would be very creative and think of something. Like same thing if I wanted to really make a cool cache, but I'm like I said, I don't always want to like overthink. I just want to get out there and cache. I want to go in the woods. I want to just get caches.
Scott says you should body slam somebody at the event.
Wait, what did Cashy say?
Cashy did New York.
I know. I feel bad. I haven't been at all. Like our local events are starting to take off, and I haven't been to all of them because just stuff comes up. Well, that was it. Was my one around my birthday. I wanted to go to, but my cat passed away. My Geo pet passed away. My cat passed away. I know. I lost 3 of my awesome angels. They're all together now, and so that's
always hard.
That's why I didn't go to that recent event. My cat passed away, people. So
yeah, that's always hard. Non-pet people won't understand it, but pet people understand it.
Oh yeah,
it's a member of the family,
Yeah. Oh, my pets are too. They're like I love my animals so much, and it's it. My horse is like in his 30s.
Oh wow!
And we still ride. He's like he's awesome. He's still in great shape. I keep him in great shape. It's like
I did not know horses live that long.
Oh, they can live to like their mid 30s. So and there has been like ones on record in their 40s and like a miracle one in the 50, but it's not. Yeah, So.
Well, I will say that I did, because we're a dog family, but I have hosted events at the dog park for people just to bring their geocaching dogs out there. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Oh, that's a cool idea. That's a really cool idea. That's a cool idea, say.
So as we wrap up, do you have any predictions of what 2022 in geocaching, besides RVing, is going to look like for you?
Right.
You have any like great ideas besides going to Memphis in July? We know you're going to be there.
And hosting an event.
What else do you want to get into?
I know, if before I hosted event, I would probably have to there was a challenge that we had to I don't know if it was a challenge to hide one of everything. I did want to try to hide one of each kind of cache. I've been thinking in my brain, to a multi-cache and an easy puzzle, because obviously I can't even do regular puzzles, so mine would have to be easy. But that's something I want to try. I want to try to at least have one of each. So event would have to be on that too. A site of it too. I would want to do that. I like those. So I would want to try that. And I want to go all over the United States, but that's not going to happen just in 1 year, next year. But as much as I can. I don't know.
That's a really good goal though, and sometimes it takes a long time, and we try to recommend that goal to everybody, not traveling everywhere, because obviously we all want to do that, but hiding one cache of each type, it really gives you an appreciation for the hiders out there. When you've done one of each type, it's huge it really ups your appreciation for the game.
Yes. Oh, I already appreciate everyone, because just the fact that you hide them, and then the fun ones, and then just the easy ones, and just the ones all over. But yes, I appreciate, even though I'm not a puzzle fan, I definitely appreciate you guys, and you're awesome the way you can do them. But maybe you have to have a site like that where people could pay to be a member if they want, and just get.
You're gonna get us all in trouble now. You're talking about paying for puzzle solving.
Stunts, and they do it with magicians. Come on, I know, you don't want your puzzles to be told or solved, but it's you're not any better than magic and this and that. We're all awesome, so you have to have a page. Then you're legit when someone's giving up all your answers. Like magicians, there's people they give up. I know all the magician tricks. Well, actually, I worked for a magician. That's another one. Put that on my resume.
I got to put that on your resume too. Oh my gosh.
I worked for, and you would never believe who. Well, I didn't technically work for him, but I've done magic with him, and he was involved in a dance troupe that I was. But Chris Angel, do you believe that? I know.
Oh, wow. So you don't have to tell the truth if it gets somebody in trouble, but were you the plant in the audience that would come up and pretend I don't even work here. I don't even know this guy.
No, I don't know if they do that per se, but I'm sure they do. But and I'm sure there's someone telling all their tricks. Wasn't there even a movie on that? The guy was giving up all the secrets. So you have to be legit. Someone has to give up all your puzzle answers, but they have to solve them, and then they have to charge, and then maybe they should give you a cut. I don't know. That would be fair, right?
There you go. Zach volunteered to be your paid puzzle solver. $20 a month subscription.
See,
I knew you'd get somebody.
Let me tell you, when I went to college, at one point I was literally when I had to write my thesis and for my master's, I'm like, oh my God, it was the hardest thing, and I thought in the world at that stage of my life. And I was I was hinting, like, I'm like, doesn't anybody like take bribes to write a paper? I felt like there was like, I wrote it on my own though. I did, and I did very well in the end. I think like once I put my mind, but at one point I was literally like crying. I would have paid anyone to do it. I'm like, please.
That's funny.
My brain sometimes hurts after a while. That's why I do stunts. You know, you don't have to think. You just hit your head all the time and you bang and you.
Yeah, there's a lot of thinking going into those stunts.
And believe me, I'm smart. I have 3 degrees. I'm very smart. I just don't like to use it. I just like to be physical.
So
it hurts.
We want to thank you again for coming on. And I know we're wrapping up in our time here, but want to thank you again. Like I said, like we could talk to you for hours and you would never run out of stories or energy, of course. But so kind of wrapping up, and again, thank you again for coming on. You're always fun. And like for anybody that gets to meet you in person, you are this person like live too. It's not just for the show. Like you're this person live. You're full of energy and everything else. And
I'm a stunt woman. I've acted, but I'm not really a good actress. That's why I'm not a superstar actress, because I'm not good at it. So this is really right. Oh, and you should have that Gio Elmo on your show. He wants to be on your show.
We will reach out to him. Absolutely. Yeah, here you go. This Phil summed it up well. Action Trinity is awesome. Pure energy. That is correct.
Thank you to everyone that joined and came in. That's like cool, because I'm actually have the comments that like I didn't know how to use them last time, so I'm reading. I'm trying to keep up with all of them. So that's awesome that you all joined in. I try to join your shows. We're a little late on Sundays.
Do you have any final thoughts for us as we close out the show tonight?
No, my brain. I've been spitting out of my brain all day. Like there's nothing.
You said it all, huh?
that it's just it's always awesome to hang out with Casher. I don't get to talk like a lot with Casher, so when I get on here and like just talk the whole time about caching, no one else would let you do that. Not even at events, because think about it, everybody wants to talk about caching at events, so you might not get a word into it. So literally, you bring me on here to talk myself almost all about it. So it's kind of great. So thank you.
Yes.
All right, we'll let Derek close it out then.
Yeah, I just
ran out of voice.
Yeah, I just saw. I noticed that. So I've been quiet for quite a bit. So
I do want to say Merry Christmas.
She got something.
Okay, I just want to say, everyone have a wonderful, happy, healthy holiday, and here's to everyone for an awesome new year. So I wish everyone wonderful holidays. Merry Christmas.
Yes, I want to wish everybody that as well. Also, we will be no Geocache Talk for the next 2 weeks. We'll be back next year. So remember that we're not going to be here next weekend or the first weekend of the year. So also once again, I want to remind you that the crates are up for sale on the website, so you can go check those out. $30 for the crate, and that'll fit all 3 coins in there. And you can also order the coins with the crate as well. But you can go through all that, and you can actually, when you order the coins, you can actually select the option for the crate as well. So, but wanted to mention that as well. But everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks, Trinity, for being with us. And Jesse, hope you have a great holiday. All of you have a great holiday. Be safe. Have fun with those that you're around, and reach out to those that you maybe have not heard in a while, because this is sometimes a very hard time for many people. So, especially with everything that's been going on in the last few years. So, but hey, hope you have a great holiday, and we will see you next year. So, all right. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.